Hello, Gareth here, and this is a warm-up to help you prepare for the painting. So the first thing we're going to do is get a pen and we're going to draw a line down the middle and then a line across the middle. And then we're going to get our Hake brush and get some blue paint and we're going to do some birds like this. So this is just practice. And a dot there. There you go. So try and do some really thin birds. That are far away. And then try to do some thicker ones that are closer. Like that. So all this practice is very, very useful because you don't want to paint a nice picture and then at the end go and paint a bird and get it wrong and spoil your whole picture. So there we go. There's that. Now the next thing is the fence. So we start off with a dot in the distance where the fence ends. And then it's going to come down and slightly up. So you decide how high. For me, about there. You can use a pencil and erase the lines if you want. And then here we have a post. And then make this gap really, really big. And of course it gets a bit more narrow, and then you want the next one to be about half this distance, not quite, but about half this distance, and then the next one, and then just a few lines at the end like that. So this post is going to come up above this line. And that's like a perspective line to help us. And then here we've got like the wooden bars, one there, and then we've got another one which will be about here. Like that. And that will get wider as it comes closer. There we go, like that. And we're probably going to have a few blades of grass here around these posts, and there we go. So let's get our Hake brush and paint this. So first of all I'll go for the post. Like that. 1, 2. So I've gone a bit too low there. There we go, like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then this wooden bar going across, or whatever it is. And this is the tricky bit, making it get a bit thinner. Especially with a big brush like this. There we go. Ooh. So I've probably made that a bit too wide. But good enough. I'm just fudging it there to make it look a bit more correct. So do fudge if you have to. And then let's do a few blades of grass like that. Maybe flick up like that. Flick up. Here too. And that's enough. And that looks fairly convincing actually. And then a bit more of a weaker mix now, using the same mix but just adding some water. I get rid of the excess on my rag, and then we're going to have a shadow come across like this. Now this has to have perspective as well, so you might want to draw that, a line like that, a straight line. There we go. And just indicate some of these blades of grass with a shadow. And there you go. A lovely little fence with dramatic perspective. Now the next thing I'm going to do is a sky. So I begin with a slightly wet mix. Too wet. And then I'm going to sweep across. I've got a few obstacles in the way here, but hopefully I'll be able to do it. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. And then make a slightly thicker mix here, and I'm just going to do another line across there, and then down here another bit here. That's it. That's a lovely sky. Then I'm going to do this mountain, a slightly weak mix, and here we go with the mountain. Now I've done this wrong because I should have done my pen lines first. So you should do this first, which is get your pen, decide on the horizon line and draw that across. And then we're going to do these furrows in the field. So the most important line is the first one. So maybe we're going to have it all come from here. That's going to be our vanishing point, and we're going to have our first line here. And then that will determine where all the other lines come. So maybe next line there. And it doesn't have to be super accurate. You can see this is not super accurate. Every time I do this, the pattern is slightly different. Perhaps I shouldn't say that, but it's the truth. There we go. And you can do this with a pencil. You don't have to use a pen. I just like using a pen. And then get our slightly watery mix and the thin bit of the brush like this. And you need these lines to be really thin at first, because they're going into the distance. Really, really thin, like that. And that will do. And now we can make them fatter, very carefully. Just do a bit below. And a bit wider. That's it. And there we go. That's how you make those furrows. Okay, and the final thing is a tree. We should always practice trees because they're very difficult to paint, and the more practice you get, the sooner you'll get better at painting them. and they're obviously quite an important feature in many watercolor paintings. It's normally what people look at. So this is how I'm going to do this tree. I'm going to do a sweeping mark across like this. Now that's not quite what I wanted. I wanted more gaps, so I'll just create them by doing that. And then I'll have a bit up there like that, and then a bit here like that, and that's it. And then let's go with the trunk and the branches. So coming down here and just a few branches like that, and I might just add the odd bunch of leaves. I have to be so careful here. It's really easy to overdo this. And look, that looks pretty nice, doesn't it? But don't worry if your tree doesn't work out. Just really listen to this. Trees are super difficult. When you can do a tree really well, it means you're already a good watercolor artist. They're that difficult. So persevere. And there we go, a bit of grass. Then a slightly watery mix. And a shadow. Like that. And then dab that. Get some more paint. And then maybe here, just do some flicks of grass. Really, this is just practice. And then we might do some long, thin blades. I'm not sure if we're actually going to do anything like this bit in the final painting, but it's good practice because we'll be using this kind of technique later on. And then that's good. And then we get the fingernail and just make a few lines. Sometimes I make a wide mark, sometimes a thin mark, creating some variety in there, like that. And be careful, because little by little, each time your finger's getting dirty, and then you're smudging the clean paper above, which a little can be okay actually. It can make it look more realistic, but only a little. There we go. So this is to help you warm up for the final painting. I hope it helps.